Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Chris here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a behind the scenes look at the making of the Grand Slam that got away. This was a documentary that I created a couple of years ago based on the 1990 French Open final between Andre Agassi and Andreas Gomez. And the reason that I decided to create this documentary was because in my life I'm a fan of guitar music, and the musician that performed the intro song in this documentary, his name is Marco Sfoli. I'm actually a huge fan of his, and a couple of years ago I was listening to one of his songs and I got this idea for making this documentary, because his music reminded me a lot of the early Andre Agassi Nike commercials, and the idea for this film kind of came from there. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video here. And when I started this video in this intro part, aside from the music, the biggest thing that I wanted to really create here was that Andre was kind of like the hero of the story. And the reason that I kind of characterized him this way was because he had this opportunity as a young American tennis player to really bring interest back in tennis again for Americans. You know, it's 2020 right now, and we haven't had an American win a Grand Slam in over 16 years. So with the Americans not doing as well, it does lose a little bit of its popularity in America, and I think Andre had a big opportunity with this. And if you look at this particular tournament, you know, he's breezing through the draw, basically. He takes down Jim Courier, who had beaten him the year before, and then he beats Michael Chang, you know, the defending champion that tournament, in 4 sets. And then he gets to the semifinals and he has to do battle with Jonas Svensson. And Svensson was a very, very tough opponent, had an excellent serve, very good volleys, but Andre managed to take him down again in 4 sets, and now he's into his first ever Grand Slam final, and he's not facing a top level player, so to speak here. He's not facing Lendl, he's not facing Becker or Edberg. He's facing Andreas Gomez. And Gomez was an excellent player by all means. I mean, he had been to multiple Grand Slam quarterfinals before at the French Open. In fact, it was Lendl, Ivan Lendl, who was the guy that was beating him in all those tournaments. So this guy was top-notch. He was always kind of in contention for a Grand Slam, but was just a little bit below the level of actually winning one. And this was his big break as well. And on the night before the final, what happened was, according to Andre's book, he basically destroyed his hairpiece by using the wrong conditioner or something like that. And he had to send his brother Phil out to go get bobby pins to attach the hair back to his head or something crazy like that, I think. Personally, I don't think there's any validity to this story at all. I think Andre probably just didn't really have a game plan, or for all I know, he might have been out partying that night. I mean, who knows, really. I don't think it was anything to do with his hairpiece myself. But I will say this much. Andre did not play this match correctly. He made 2 really big mistakes that cost him the final. The first thing that he made a mistake on was he didn't come out aggressively enough from the start. He let Gomez get on top of him, and in a Grand Slam final you really can't afford to be tentative, because the opponent got there from playing aggressively, and they know they have to play aggressively if they want to beat you. So Gomez came out playing well, Andre came out playing very conservative tennis, and made a lot of mistakes in the beginning of the match, and it really cost him here. Now in this part, I'm kind of talking a little bit about the things that either player is good at, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And what Andre did well was he was great at taking the ball early, and he had a very good return of serve. And Gomez was kind of the opposite of that. He was more of the big serve, look to move forward, hit the forehand, maybe even move up to the net. And he also had a very good running forehand. But the one thing I did want to mention about this was that Gomez in the past had a slice backhand that he would use. And that type of shot would not have hurt Andre. But what was actually made a difference for Gomez in this match was he was coming over the ball more and he was hitting with topspin. So he could actually hit the ball down the line and stuff like that, which would hurt Andre, and he wasn't getting any free looks on Gomez's backhand. A little bit of background story on Andre is that in terms of his game, he had a really good backhand angle cross-court shot. Like, he was great at pulling the opponent off the court past the single sideline. But on the forehand side, he tended to hit the ball a little bit flatter, so he couldn't create that angle as easily as a player like, Nadal or Federer, Djokovic, certainly, some of those guys. It wasn't really his strong suit. And because of the fact that Gomez was a lefty, he really needed to hit that ball on an angle more with his forehand, which would have gone to Gomez's backhand. Gomez would be in a position where he can't comfortably come over the ball. He's going to have to slice it. And then Andre would be in a position to rip that ball with his backhand to the open court. And I think, in my opinion, that was one of the major things that hurt Andre in this match, was he didn't use that tactic against Gomez. He did a couple of times, and I noticed that when he started playing the ball wide to Gomez's to his backhand rather, Gomez would start to get behind in the point a little bit. Some of the other things that were, I think, hard for him here in this match was the nerves. Andre was pretty nervous here in this first set. He barely gets through the first couple of games without losing serve. He actually does have an opportunity at 3-all to get a break against Gomez, and it doesn't work out for him. And then Gomez breaks him right away in the next game, plays an excellent game at I think it was 5-4, I want to say, in the first set, and takes the first set over against Andre, and he wins it quickly, and he wins it pretty easily. And then in the second set, it's a complete reverse, and they kind of trade breaks a couple of times, I think it was. But in either case, Andre wins at 6-2. So now we're level at this point. Both players are on the board, and Andre's going to look to assert himself here. And this is where Gomez took this opportunity to really elevate his game. And what I saw here from Gomez was just a willingness to attack. He was getting up to the net, putting the pressure on Andre. And Andre's shot selection in the third set wasn't really the greatest. He did a lot of drop shots against Gomez, and he was doing things that were really too high risk for a Grand Slam final. They felt kind of desperate to me. And the other thing I noticed was he was hitting the ball short a lot against Gomez on the return of serve, and that's not something that he was known for. He was always known for taking the ball early, getting the opponent on the defense right away. And what Andre was doing in this case was he was hitting a lot of balls back to the middle that Gomez could just immediately attack him on. Andres Gomez was the type of player that you had to get him defending right away, or you were going to be in a lot of trouble against him. And Andre Agassi didn't do that in this match, so he loses the third set. But to give you an idea of how close Andre was, he actually was only 6 points away from winning the third set, and that's where Gomez broke him. I think if he had gotten that third set in this match, he would have won it, in my opinion, because I think if it went 5, and Gomez admitted this in the post-match interview, I don't think that he would have been able to beat Agassi in 5 sets. I think he was about done. And you'll see in this fourth set a little bit that Gomez kind of starts to slow down towards the end of the match. He has a couple of points where he's not, he's kind of falling behind at the start of the game. And Andre is really working his way back into the match at this point. He's got an uphill battle. He's down 2-1, but he's the younger player. He's the fitter player, you would think. And he's close. I feel like there's a couple of points here. If he can just get that break back, he can turn things around. And just on those big important points, he doesn't play them well enough. And Gomez makes a really good decision to, come in, keep coming in, keep hitting those big serves, and keeping the points short against Andre, and it paid off a lot for him in this match. I think the biggest problem for Andre overall was not coming out of the blocks stronger. And if you watch his Grand Slam finals after 1990, he would always come out strong. I mean, in all those matches, except for probably the one in 1999 with Medvedev, but in all those other finals, he always comes out strong. He came out really weak here, and that hurt him big time against Gomez. If it had been a closer first set, and he had really had that conviction right from the start, he would have won this match, my opinion. But no, it took him quite a long time actually to get the French Open, and we'll be covering that video in the future. I'm really looking forward to that one. But actually up next will be the 1995 hardcourt season, which is going to take a look at the rivalry when it was at its best between Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi, and I'm really looking forward to that one. But anyway, guys, I wanted to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to give me a thumbs up, and also make sure you're subscribing to this channel because we have a lot more of these videos planned in the future. And I want to thank you again. I will see you at the next one. This is Chris, signing out.